The Bundesliga season is upon us, and we will be this season covering mostly the entirety of Bundesliga. I can't wait. And to start it off and to celebrate, we will be predicting the entirety of the Bundesliga from first place all the way down to 18th spot. I've tried to film this video like 3, 4, 5 times, but every single time I've been having a little bit technical issues or just having to leave because I have to do something. But now we're going to get right into it. I've already made the list this time around because now I have the points to actually back myself and to argue and to explain the reasons as to why I have picked who I have picked and why teams are designated into the spots that they are in. And yeah, I mean, you guys already are seeing who I have picked. And if we're going to be honest, guys, not too much surprises here, okay? Not too many surprises, but I would love to just have a quick conversation about what I am seeing and the reason I picked who I picked. We're going to be starting straight off, we can talk about the top six. The reason I picked who I picked in the top six, I think Frankfurt is leaving or going to be in sixth spot, and the reason for that is I have checked and I'm actually checking my notes here and I'm trying to see if they've gotten anything amazing or anything that is like outstanding. And from what I'm seeing, they added Otavio from the Liga Nos, and they have also added Rafael Onyedika. And I can't lie, guys, it's not really moving me. It's not something that is going to be changing lives, and I think it's going to be, it's a progression, but it's going to be like a slow progression. So I don't really know where they will be ending, but I think they will probably just be on the cusp of sixth place or sixth spot, and it's going to be very interesting. And I think it's going to be, they're going upwards. At least they are having a positive effect and going upwards. So I think they are going to be this time around going places. For my fifth spot is going to be a little bit of a not so controversial. I think it's going to be Leverkusen, even though they have had a lot of outs. I think they have also added a player such as, Facundo Medina. I don't really know what he does, but I know a little bit about Afonso Moreira. But having Hincapié, of course, officially leave, and also having Grimaldo leave, it's going to be very interesting to see how their season goes. But I think overall, it is. I think Leverkusen will still be doing all right. They'll probably be in the top 5. Moving on, fourth, I don't think there's too much to say there. The reason for that is because Leipzig has had, even though they, Diomande left, I think they have also added in some good amount of players that, are kind of moving me. Such as, who did they even add? I have to just double check here. Sorry, guys. Apologies. I thought I had my list ready, but, there's too many notes here, so I don't really know what exactly where Leipzig is. Here it is. They added a goalkeeper, Nilan, with, because of course the department of Golaxi, and also they added Esteve. And the reason for that they added Esteve is because, I mean, I'm guessing, to be honest, I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think he had a great season and they kind of needed a centre back. He had a great season with Burnley, and he was actually a phenomenal player for me, especially on FPL, if I'm going to be honest. So, I think he's going to be a great addition, and he was actually quite solid for Burnley, and I think he'll probably be not too bad for Leipzig as well. And, the way Bundesliga is, it's a little bit slower league as well, and I think he'll much and more likely be thriving in the Bundesliga. And I think he'll do well and solid for Leipzig, even though they have, missed out on a sensational player such as Diomande. I think having the player as great as, Antonio Nusa, I think he will probably be, they will just be fine. They'll be fine. Moving up, we have Dortmund. And the reason for that is because I don't think they're going to be second. I think they're going to be struggling a little bit. They haven't really reinforced as much as I thought they would be reinforcing. They're not really trying to title charge this season. It kind of seems like they are in this like weird limbo of, we're going to get Champions League and then we'll see what happens. But I don't really think they're trying to go for a title charge. And even when, Julian Brandt left recently, I'm not really seeing too many moves from Dortmund. So I think, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with Dortmund. Stuttgart, I am going to be predicting Stuttgart is second, even though last season they came fourth, if I remember correctly. I think the reason for that is, the great additions that they have added into their team. I think having a who did they add again? I have to just double check who they added. I'm sorry guys, but they added Leo Sawer, which has been actually great player last season, and also Bilal El Kunus, as well as Dizanan Pejsinovic. I don't know how to exactly say his name, but I think having all these new additions and having more attacking firepower, I think is going to actually be great for them, and they might even be title contenders. I might add, but I don't really doubt that they will be title contenders, and the reason for that is one, especially one big key reason, which is Bayern Munich winning the league once again. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't really know what to exactly say about it. I am a person who is a Bayern Munich fan, but I'm also a critic of the league first. And the reason for that is because, Bayern Munich has just, added more firepower into their team, with the likes of Ismail Saibari and also Nathaniel Brown, I think, and even a little bit, we can kind of say that India is a kind of a new signing. But the thing is, the main point here is that Bayern Munich are trying to, level up and actually go for the Champions League as well as the league. But we have teams such as the Stuttgarts and the Bundesliga in general are not really trying to fight for the league. And I don't really know what has happened. The only time that we have gotten something amazing and something very interesting is when Leverkusen actually tried. And now that we are having these issues that we are with the league not really being that tight, challenging, I mean, it is a little bit sad, guys. I'm going to be honest, it is a little bit sad, but what can you do about it? You know what I mean? Moving on, I kind of want to speak a little bit about the relegation battle, which is the most important one as well. And unfortunately, I think Werder Bremen is going to be relegated. And the reason for that is, even though Werder Bremen has added a lot of new players, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it is enough, and I'm just looking right now at the team and the players that they have added, and it's not really like wow players. It's not the type of players that you look at and you tell yourself, wow, this is sensational players. I mean, they added in Nicholas Fulkrug that I'm just looking at right now, and also Karl Hein and Chuki. And Nicholas Fulkrug actually was just on loan from to West Ham. I don't think it was actually like a player they bought. They didn't buy him. But the point is, I'm not really too happy with this type of team. I mean, they were on the cusp of the last season, on the cusp, and Wolfsburg actually getting relegated for the first time in a while is also very shocking. But it is very much expected as well. The two teams that unfortunately will be also automatic relegation will most likely be Paderborn and Elversberg, even though it's their first time ever in the Bundesliga, which I will commend them for, and I'm going to be saying congratulations. I think unfortunately they'll just go straight down. And the reason for that is because they haven't really done too much reinforcement, nothing that is like very much moving, but they could be as well just, shock me and really much move me. So maybe I am being a little bit blasé, I guess you could say. So probably I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, I think those two are probably going to be the relegated guaranteed, and then we have Werder Bremen that goes down as well. 15th is Augsburg, and I actually spoke a little bit about it on a video where wasn't uploaded, and the reason for that is because Augsburg will probably be one of those teams that will be on the cusp of relegation, and they will be on a huge relegation battle. I think this season the relegation is going to be probably way much more interesting. Like this Bundesliga relegation battle will probably be one of the most interesting relegation battles in every single season or every single league that is available in Europe right now. And the reason for that is because there's teams that are adding players to that. They're pretty much like powering their team, but it's not to the extent where they're title contenders, but they're not really mid-table either. So I think competition here in Bundesliga is going to be very much interesting this season, but I think Augsburg is one of those teams that hasn't really done too much this transfer market, nothing too notable. So I think they'll probably be 15th. They might even get relegated as well. Same goes for Gladbach. I mean, I'm looking at my notes here, and Gladbach also has been one of those teams that, I wasn't really moved when I was doing my research. I didn't really find anything that was like something to take note of. So I think they are also going to be one of those teams that I won't be really surprised by. 13th, the reason for that is Union Berlin. A lot of people are, expecting some stuff from them. I don't really know what to expect. The reason for that is their new manager. I don't really know too much about him. He's from the Swiss league. don't really know too much about him, and I'm looking at my notes again just to double check if there's anything I'm missing from this team. And I'm just looking at my notes, and there's nothing too exciting to brag about or take home. So yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be Union Berlin. Next up is Köln, and the reason that I think they are, I mean, they're going a little bit some places because they have added Jakub Kaminski into their team and Tom Kraub, and those two actually, Tom Kraub more specifically, is one of those players that first of all, I think he was quite solid for Leipzig this season, and I think he was actually not too bad. Even though I think he only had one appearance, but that one appearance wasn't too bad. Okay, and where has he actually been? I have to just double check what he has been doing recently. He was in Com as a loan. Ah, I remember him actually from Leipzig. I am just messing up players this time around. I'm sorry, guys. What kind of football? What am I doing? Okay, so this is a guy that was on loan and now he's permanent for FC Köln. And yeah, sure. I don't really know too much about him. Then I was thinking about someone else. Well, then I guess Union Berlin is 13 because they're just 13 in it. We got Mainz as our 11th spot, and I think actually they're going to be, they're not really going to be having a crazy drop off. It's just one place down. I think last season they were 10th. I don't really remember the league last season who ended up where. I was actually more focused on the Premier League, but I think just looking at my notes once again, nothing to really brag about again, and I think it's going to be one of those seasons that will be completely all right for them. I think Hoffenheim is actually a team that we need to a little bit speak about. I think this season there might be a little bit one of those teams that will be underperforming, and the reason for that is they haven't really signed anyone that you can take home or to take notes about. Once again, it's another team that you look at and you're like, it's all right, nothing to that nothing to brag about, nothing to take home. I mean, they signed in Adam Daghim. I don't really know too much about him. He's a good fellow Danish player. He's all right. We'll see. His loan spell ended in Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg he was as a loan. I remember I watched him, and I wasn't really too much like wow. So I don't know. I think Hoffenheim definitely will have a fall off this season. Freiburg is actually also going to be having another fall off this season. I think it's going to be also one of those teams that will be having a massive fall off. And the reason for that is actually I want to speak a little bit more about Schalke. So Schalke is going to be the team that came up recently and are doing bits. Or congratulations for Schalke to getting promoted, and I think they're going to be staying here for a long time. That little spell that they had, it was just like one of those like unfortunate things that happened. And I think, and really believe now that they have added, the players such as Dzeko in their team, and they are having, I'm seeing that they added in Robin Gosens, Maximilian, and also having Edin Dzeko. I mean, my bad. He was one of their main key players last season from Bundesliga 2. So I think they will be completely fine. And I think actually they will be improving and be eighth actually this season. Seventh is going to be, and the last team to talk about is Hamburg. And I'm looking at my notes once again. Nothing too crazy to talk about and bring home. But I think the reason I put them seventh is because I have some stocks in some players. And Hamburg bought in a player such as a Patson Daka. And I think they'll be completely fine with him. I think, Patson Daka was one of those players that I thought was going to go places, and he was very talented and, generational to some extent when he was playing for Leicester City. But yeah, nothing really happened with him. And, he has been doing all right. But we'll see. We'll see, honestly. I think this is the type of season that will be not too interesting, but it will be a little bit interesting. I really, really want to, have some competition as a Bayern Munich fan, but unfortunately, there's not too much competition about the Bundesliga. We'll see how long I watch the Bundesliga and actually cover it, because mostly I do tend to cover the Premier League and Manchester United more so. as much as Bayern Munich, because Manchester United is one of those teams that I just kind of grew up watching as a kid, and almost became a fan of. So yeah, man, this is the prediction. Comment down below what you guys think. How far off do you guys think I am? And yeah, I kind of want to talk a little bit about goals. I mean, there's not too much to predict. Goal scorer is probably going to be Harry Kane. Top assist is probably going to be Olise if nothing happens. Underachieving team, like I said, was most likely going to be one of the, and I, maybe I sound kind of crazy in saying it, and based on how they have been actually over the years, but I just have this weird feeling that, unfortunately, even though last season they did quite well, I just can't see it. Okay, I just can't see it. And that is who was it I said was going to be kind of fumbling it a little bit. I'm just trying to think who was going to be my underachievers. Hamburg, Schalke, Freiburg, Hoffenheim, Mainz, Union Berlin, no, Gladbach. I think it was maybe Augsburg. I said was going to be underachievers this season. I'm trying to see who I thought was going to be underachievers this season. I just can't seem to find who is going to be it. Well, I can't seem to find it, guys. So I think we are just going to end it there. Uh, I probably mentioned it earlier. I just don't remember who I said was going to be underachievers. But if I have to pick one, just based on just previous knowledge, I think it's probably going to be Freiburg. Overachievers actually is going to be Schalke, but I think it's a little bit expected from people. And I think also Hamburg has also another thing that I want to add is that Hamburg could even potentially become sixth and compete for some Conference League or Europa as well, because they added some good amount of players, and they've retained a lot of their players that performed well as well. That's what I want to say. So I think the overachievers this season might even be Schalke. Previous season, last season, was Hamburg that overachieved immensely. So, and underachievers, I'll just give it to probably. I honestly don't know, man. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Dortmund because they're not really moving me. I wouldn't be shocked if Dortmund just suddenly fell all the way down to ninth, for instance. But for now, I'll give them third. And then yeah, this is the Premier League, not the Premier League. This is the Bundesliga prediction. Comment down below what you guys think, and yeah, I'll see you guys probably when Bayern Munich play our game. So yeah, peace.